Welcome back, Custom Nerd fans, and in this video I'll be going over my personal thoughts and opinions on Goliath, the B&M Hyper at Six Flags over Georgia. But also a quick little reminder, please go and like this video and please subscribe. Every subscriber and like really does help this channel out. Anyway, let's get into this video. So Goliath is one of the last B&Ms built by the Six Flags chain. As the last one was X-Glide, a B&M wing coaster at Six Flags Great America. But overall, Goliath is a masterpiece to look at. Even if you're scared of heights or anything, this ride is gorgeous. It definitely, when it comes down to in your face, welcome to a park, it definitely has that it speaks to you in that way, in my opinion. And this thing just looks massive. Definitely going under the hills of Goliath really brings out the hype more. And that's where I kind of feel, going into this, I kind of didn't feel like Goliath was going to be that good of a B&M since I had ridden Mako and Diamondback, at the time anyway. I didn't think it could exceed those rides for B&M Hypers, and Goliath honestly blew me away. When it comes down to airtime, it definitely does not have that compared to Diamondback or Mako, but for what it lacks in airtime, it really, really it exceeds in intensity. The double helix coming back to the station, before you come back to the station, which is outside the park, keep in mind, is so amazing. It's just one of those weird elements you just don't expect from a B&M Hyper. I wouldn't call this a B&M Twister layout, but I also wouldn't say it's a classic B&M out and back layout either. Plus, also, it does some weird things, especially for the time it was built. Definitely does not feel like it should be on a B&M Hyper. It has some really weird sideways hills, kind of like, it's the best element I can think of to a coaster that's similar to the type it is, would be the one of the last hills before you go around the fountain on Candemonium at Hershey Park. That's the best experience I can give to you, but it's not as whippy. But this ride also is just beautiful. It definitely needs a repaint. So Six Flags, if you're watching this, please repaint Goliath. It really does need it. But other than that, it's a beautiful ride. It's a masterpiece for Six Flags of Georgia. The height definitely isn't in its favor. The speed, though, is. It does have a couple of really good airtime moments, especially off the drop. You get a lot of airtime going into that, into the airtime hill after the drop. Gives some pretty good plops of floater. And then when you go up before the double helix, it kind of goes onto this hill before you go into the double helix. It gives some pretty nice airtime too. From there, it hops over this road next to Georgia Scorcher. And it just does these really tiny bunny hills, and it feels like it's kind of going pretty fast still. And it meanders around, it feels like a little bit, and then you do this crazy, what I was talking about earlier, with the weird sideways hill before you go into the final brake run, and that's the end of the ride for Goliath. Overall, I feel like Goliath is definitely an underrated B&M Hyper. It's one of my favorites. It's definitely up there with Diamondback and Mako and Nitro, and I've already talked about how Nitro was a really underrated ride for a B&M Hyper. So I don't understand the hate for that. I don't understand the hate for Goliath. But yeah, how come all the B&M Hypers for Six Flags are really underrated? That's my question now. But anyway, give me your thoughts and opinions on Goliath. How do you rank it in with the B&M Hypers? I rank this pretty highly. Same with Nitro. So if just leave a like and a comment, and we'll see you guys out in the queues.